Perfect. Welcome, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us today to What's New in Sage 100 2026. My name is Tamara, and I'll be your moderator for today. I'm the marketing assistant here at DSD, and I've had the pleasure of connecting with many of you leading up to today's session, and we're super excited to have you here. Today's session is going to be all about highlighting the latest updates and enhancements in Sage 100 for 2026, along with some additional tools and solutions from DSD that can help support your business. Joining us today is an incredible team from our Sage 100 practice: Sherry Eckersley, Bob Osborne, John Ryder, and Jim Woodhead. They bring a wealth of knowledge and real world experience, and we're super excited to have them here and to walk you through today's content. Before we jump in, just a quick housekeeping notes. I'll be monitoring the chat and the Q&A panel throughout this session, so please feel free to submit any questions as they come up, and we'll also have time to set aside at the end for Q&A. And again, a quick reminder, today's session is being recorded and the recording will be sent out after the webinar. And let's take a quick look at what we'll be covering today. So Sherry's going to be covering global and miscellaneous updates. We have Bob covering the inventory management and sales order enhancements. Jim is going to be covering Paperless Office updates. And we have John Ryder, who's going to be giving a little bit more insight about DSD InstaDocs. And we'll wrap up with a live Q&A. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass it over to you, Sherry.
Just give me a second to share my screen and we will get going. Okay, so as I'm going to start with the global new features for 2026, and the first of those is the new Sage Help Agent, and that is the an AI-powered Sage Help, where you can type in a question and get. Let's see, let me just make sure I got the shared screen. Okay, I'm getting sorry, one more button to pick.
Perfect,
okay.
Yes.
Thank you, sorry. One more button to choose. Okay, so starting again, I'm gonna cover the, first of all, the global features. So the first one I'm gonna talk about is Sage Help Agent. So that is an AI-powered way to ask questions in Sage. And this is actually available for, if you're running Sage 100 2023 or higher at this time, you have this now. So under the Home tab, under Sage Help Agent, this is how you get to this. And you just type in questions. This is going to look at the Sage Help database. So we're going to do like reverse and AP check. And this is designed, so it's one question. It's a little different than ChatGPT where it builds on questions. So you ask your question, you can then ask another question. So it's going out and it's going to show us the steps to reverse an accounts payable check in here. And then it will typically also have links to additional information. And you see at the top, they've got some other suggestions for things you might be asking. So again, if you're already on 2023 or higher, you have this available now. The other thing about this is that Sage is intending in the future to build on this to look at bringing data from the Sage knowledge base. And so we don't have a date for that yet, but that will be coming. And the other thing I want to show you as far as global goes is also under this Home tab, and that is the new global search. So this is going to, it'll search your entire Sage database, your Sage 100 database, so all companies and all data. And so it's designed building with a build index, so that when you first use it, you want to choose that button down here on the right to build that. It'll pull in all of your data. And then after that, each time you run it for any new information, you can choose that. There's also, DSD can help you with scheduling that in Task Manager, so it just happens automatically, like on a nightly basis. So I'm going to put in here, we're going to search first on United. So I'll put that in, and then I can choose to search one company or all my companies. So I'm going to choose to search all my companies, and then entities. So you can look in various areas of your Sage 100, again, depending on what modules you have installed. I'm going to include everything. And then I'm going to do the search. So it's looking throughout all of my companies, any place that finds United. So you're seeing a long list of different items in here. So I'm going to narrow that a bit. I'm going to choose United Computers. And then this gives me then for all companies, or if I just wanted to look at one company, I can look at that too. So again, we're seeing in here specifically some purchase order, looking in purchase order history for specific documents, receipt history. So I'm going to just double click on one of these and it takes me to that actual document. So again, we're seeing United Computers, that particular document. So that again is how the global search works. From here, we're going to go to look at, we're going to focus a little bit on Library Master and some security, additional security measures in there. So under that, let me get down here to some of my screens. We're going to first look at system configuration. So again, Library Master covers all of your Sage companies. So any settings in here are covering not company specific. The first thing, again, for added security is that some of these questions in here, they're now defaulting. So things like, passwords and a minimum length in here. And this is whether or not you're requiring passwords in your Sage 100. So if somebody, you didn't require, but somebody has passwords set up, then these are, again, are the defaults, and you can change these defaults. There's a couple other new options in here. The first one we're going to talk about is maximum hours session can be inactive. So that's you can set the number of hours. So again, it defaults to 24, that the software can be inactive before a user or users are automatically logged off. And then there's the other new feature in here is the audit tracking. So enable audit tracking for role maintenance and user maintenance. So this will provide an audit trail of changes, deletions, and additions to role and user information. So we're going to look at that now a bit more. So within that then, so again, in Library Master, there's some new tasks in here associated with the audits. So first of all, in reports, there's two new reports, user audit report and role audit report. And then under utilities, there are two new utilities in there to purge either of those. And those are all tied to security measures in role maintenance so you can give access to the people who you want to have access. And then we're going to take a look at one of those reports to give you an idea of the audit on that. So here I'm going to bring up the role audit report. And so this report, you can, sort it in different ways, and you have actions. So if you want to just look at the change things, and then the changes themselves, if you want to look at just the security options, for instance, and then you've got different selections down here as far as the role, the user logon, a date, if you want a specific range of dates. So I've set it for one of my roles. So we'll take a look at that real quick. So this new report then, it's going to show again by user and by date, things that are, again, I did it wide open for things that are new. Let's go back down to like the last page. The two things that we just talked about, the purging so actually we're going to talk about those a little bit later. So we're seeing, new values in here, original values, and by user. So you've got a role audit report, or you can look at this from the user standpoint. The other in security also, there are some other, let's take a look at role maintenance. There's a new option in security for the form printing message. So, and this is available for subscription users only. I think probably most of you are on Sage 100 subscription, but this is found under security options. And if we look at that, this very last one, show prompt to remove forms from printer. So probably most of you have seen that message before when you're printing accounts payable checks, or maybe you have payroll and you're printing those checks, that reminder to remove your forms. So if you've seen it for years on end and you're like, I don't need to see this anymore, this can be controlled by role as far as not even having that prompt come up anymore. There's a couple other things in role maintenance. I'm not going to show those. We'll just talk about those. There's a couple of sales order new roles. And so the first one is called display zero cost warning for miscellaneous and special items. So that alerts users when a miscellaneous item or special item is entered and the item's unit cost is zero, either in sales order entry or sales order invoice data entry. So whether you want to see that message or not is now controlled in role maintenance. And then the second one is allow purging of daily shipment report. And that would allow a user to purge that data on that daily shipment report after printing it. So again, you can control if you want that to be able to be purged or not by role. From here, we're going to talk about a couple new features in the custom lookup. And so the first one we're going to look at is we're going to look at it in vendor maintenance. And again, these are global types of things. So the user, the advanced lookup is available in a lot of fields. So I'm just going to show you in vendor maintenance. The new operand that's available in here is empty. And so I created a view, and I happen to call it is empty. And so this is a view where I've set up a filter in here where I've chosen phone number is empty. It's a good value to be able to clean up data, see what's missing in here, be able to, go and have that, gather that additional information that, maybe most of my vendors, I've got the phone number, but some I don't. So this again is showing that information. And just a reminder, this is available in all of these lookups for any of those fields. And then they've added some information on the lookup report. So if we look at the lookup wizard in here, we'll look at the report for the particular lookup. So this report will show you all of the different lookups in here. And we're going to go to the last page because all the first ones are going to be the standard ones that ship with Sage 100. So you're going to see all company codes, these pound signs, all user codes. So we're going to go to the last page. And that's going to show for any of your users and companies. So again, here we've got company code ABC, user code DSD, with specific lookups that have been created, custom lookups in there. So that's going to show you that information. So this concludes my portion, and then we're going to go ahead and switch over to Bob next. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Sherry. And now I'm going to pass this over to you,
Okay,
Bob. You should be able to share your screen now.
Okay, let's see. That is what I'm looking for.
Perfect, yes.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm going to go over some changes to inventory management and to sales order. The first one that I want to cover is the changes that they made to lot serial numbers. And my background was from the nutrition industry, so this is sort of exciting to me. It solves some issues that we had before. What they've done is that they've expanded the lot serial numbers from 15 characters to 50 characters. So now we've got an item here that's a lot item, and you can say I have a lot number that's 50 characters long. And what they've done is everywhere you see a lot serial field, it has the entire 50 character length, like this next lot serial number for the item here. They've moved it and made enough room for it to have 50 characters in it. Now, when you upgrade to this version, your lot numbers and serial numbers are not changed per se. But another feature that they've added is that if you have serial or lot numbers that are entirely numeric, it has the ability to pad it with leading zeros if you want that option. It is in item maintenance. Whoops. Okay, that's fine. And in item management options, they've added a lot serial tab. They've taken the fields that were previously on the additional tab and moved them over here, so we've got more room. They've added the lot serial expirations over here. Then they've added the zero fill serial number option here. And if you enable that, it doesn't immediately change everything. It only will work going forward on new lot serial numbers that are entirely numeric. Now, if you want to update your existing lot serial numbers, there is a utility that you can run after you convert your data. That is the lot serial number conversion utility that will put leading zeros on any lot serial numbers that are entirely numeric. And just a note on that, the item that I was showing, there was a couple of lot serial numbers there that would not be changed. Let's see, I think it's this one. See, these have characters in them, like January and March. Those wouldn't get changed. They would stay as is. Okay, and another thing that they've added in here is lot source tracking, which is something the FDA is now requiring. And again, in inventory management options, there is this checkbox here to enable tracking of lot source code. And because this is something that would only apply to certain items, there is also a checkbox in item maintenance for this to enable it. And I enabled it for one item here. And if we go over to additional, we see this track lot source code here. And okay, we'll look at that. And then I'll show you how that works in transaction entry. It works pretty much everywhere, but transaction entry is easy to show. I have two lines in here. This item does not have the source code tracking turned on. If I do a transaction for this, you'll notice that it pops up for the lot number with the full 50 characters. Yeah, I'll delete that one. Now this one has it turned on. And when I go into the distribution screen, not only do I have the lot number, but I have the lot source code here as well as the country of origin, which is really great for this. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. In addition to that, they have a report for that now. Yes. Oh, okay, cancel. They have a lot source code history report. So if you need to find something that was from a particular source, now you have a report where you're able to find this information for recall or reporting within different periods, and you can do it by item code, whatever you need for that. That will be immensely useful. And one other thing on this, let's see, is that in product line maintenance, they have also improved it for the lot serial information has its own tab over here in product line maintenance. And over here is where they have the track lot source code in product line, so that you're able to automatically assign that to any items that are in a specific product line. And of course, you can also use the apply option to apply this to any existing items that don't have it enabled for the product line. Okay. Okay, and then another thing that they've done in inventory management options is let's see, Am I blocking myself? Let me see if I can unblock myself here. Yeah, they've added 2 additional options as far as quantity available goes. They have now required for work ticket and PO and required for work ticket. And what that will do is it will make sure that you're not overstating demands on finished goods versus raw materials. So I think that's going to help a lot in tracking what you actually need to order. Okay, we've covered that. And another thing that they've done is they have expanded the price level field. So if we go into price code maintenance and look here, okay, mouse work. And you'll notice now that instead of 1 character, the price level now is able to go to 15 characters. And you can see that reflected in customer maintenance as well here. All right. So you can see that's reflected over here as well. So that gives you a lot more capability rather than the limit on only having 37 possible price levels. And the next thing that they have done, which is very nice, is that they have expanded the tracking numbers in Sage from 30 characters to 40 characters. And let me get over there. Sales order. So now if we look at the tracking number in here, you can see that it's been expanded quite a bit. Some of the characters and some of the carriers, particularly common carriers, have very long tracking numbers. Now it can accommodate these. Okay, and now in inventory requirements planning, they have set up the warehouse grouping option that previously was missing. It was in IRP before. Now you have in the setup option the ability to enable warehouse grouping, and then you have the warehouse group maintenance option over here. Oh, I don't have any set up. Okay, select. And another thing that they've done in this version is in warehouse maintenance, they've added a type to it, whether it's a standard warehouse or a transfer warehouse. And the transfer warehouses is used for moving finished goods. Okay, and then let's see, we can enable these for the production warehouse. Let's say this is the production warehouse and this is the shipping warehouse. And now when you run IRP, you can run it for that group and it will consolidate all the recommendations based on everything in that entire group. And in production management, they have added another feature in here. Let me find the right one. In the material shortage report, let me get into the production management. They've added an option now to print items with 0 quantity short. That way, when you print the report, you'll have a complete list, even of the items that you don't need as far as the shortage goes. And I know sometimes that's a good thing to be able to see. And then in sales order, they have made a change. Get into that. On the payment tab now, let's see if let's get to one that's a real order. There we go. On the payment tab, now they have the order total amount over here in the credit card information so that you have that visible to you when you're doing this transaction. Useful too if you need to do a deposit or something like that to know what the actual balance is. And one other thing that they have done is they put in an option as far as the cancellation code goes. If you, let's see, deleting sales orders, where is it? Okay, I don't see the option here offhand, but they have enhanced it so when you're deleting orders, it doesn't necessarily require you to enter a cancellation code. All right, and that ends what I have to cover. Thanks, everyone.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bob. Now we are on to Jim. Jim, I'm going to give you the permission. All right, you should be able to share your screen. Jim, you are on mute.
Good morning, afternoon, everyone. So we're going to go through the new paperless office features, which frankly I think are some of the best features they've added to Sage and paperless for a long time. So I think you guys are really going to like these. So we're going to walk through these enhancements. We're going to demo 4 of them. We'll talk about one of them. This is one of those enhancements that has been asked for many times. Customers will say, hey, we have all these emails coming out of the system. Well, what Sage has done is they have added a new consolidation function. So before, we would get 10 invoices. You'd have 10 and you have 10 separate emails. And obviously that would, if you're sending a lot of invoices, it clutters mailboxes. There's no control of scheduling when you send them. No manual batch management, and each PDF is sent individually. So what did they do? So they added a new feature in here to allow you to consolidate invoices, and we'll go through that. What it does is it takes those invoices and will consolidate those onto one email. Makes a nice clean email, and we'll take a look at Outlook and see how they look at it. You can schedule them, and you also have an option to be able to zip them up. So if you're sending more than 5 or 10 or 15, you could zip up into one file as opposed to having 10 different attachments. It can be one, and they can download that and put that into the system. So let's go ahead and get going here and show you how this works. So I'm going to start out here, and we're going to show you some of the new features the new thing. So inside Paperless Office options, they've added a new option here to allow you to zip multiple PDFs onto a consolidated email. And you can specify how many you want to zip. So if you have more than 3 invoices, it will create a zip. In this case, if you have 2, it'll show 2 individual invoices. So you can go in and change that. Now, another thing that is out there that they added a while ago, but a lot of people don't know it's there, is this default delivery option. So it's at the bottom of the Paperless Office setup menu. So when you open this up, this is out there. I'm going to go ahead and bring up a record. And you can set this by company and for the different form types. And I've done one for the sales order or sales order invoice. And you can do it for each form, and you can control this. And what this does is this is a default setting. So when you add a new customer, it'll automatically check the box for printing, email, use data entry, and that's the same as if you were to go into a customer. Let me go ahead and bring up customer maintenance here. When you bring up a customer, these are the same options that you get here under the More button under Paperless. You can automatically set these. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at these. This is checking these two boxes here, and also it's setting these boxes here. And also there's a new box here called Consolidate Emails for Customer. So when this is checked, it will automatically consolidate those. So again, this option here, this screen here is just a shortcut to set it. Now you might say, well, Jim, I have a bunch of customers I already have set up. These aren't new. Well, they also added a button called Apply, and you click on that button, and then you can go out and push these over to all of your customers. So I know many of the times we used to have to import all this in, but this is super easy to set up, and there's really no reason why you shouldn't send all your invoices this way. Okay, next, let's go ahead and take a look at the new consolidation feature. So they've added some, I'm going to close these windows down here. This is a Paperless Office menu, and they've added some new options here called deliver consolidated customer emails, and they also have a same one for deliver vendor emails. So if we take a look at these, it will go through, and you can see for consolidated emails for vendors, you can do purchase orders, quotes, and returns. And then for the customers, you can do invoices, statements, RAs, sales orders, and invoices. So to do this, you just go ahead and open this up and click on send here, and that will go out, and it will send all the different files that are sitting out there. And then you might say, well, what files are out there? You can take a look at this customer viewer here, and this viewer here will show you what's out there. So as you fill up these invoices, they'll fill up in here, and they'll have a status of whether they've been sent or not. And if their send is pending, when it goes through to create the invoices, it will go through and create these. So if I were to run this, it would go through and consolidate these. Now I have 2 invoices for International Max here, and then I have 3 invoices for American Business Future. So when I take a look at my email, I should see 2 invoices or 2 emails, one with 2 individual ones, and because we have 3 of these, it's going to automatically zip those up. So to fire those and send those up, I'm going to go ahead and open up my Outlook here, and this is what the emails are going to look like. So if you have a consolidated email, let's see if I can bring this up in here. You're going to see, and you can see, by the way, it's sending those emails that I sent off earlier. It's firing those off. But you're going to see an email to your customer, and there's going to be a zip file, and you can control this. And we'll talk about where you set up these advices, these messages. You can see it's coming in. I'm firing, getting more emails as I just sent those off. If it's an individual one, you're going to see multiple invoices here, and you can see there's multiple invoices, and the invoices are attached to the system, just like before. Okay, so they've also added a new feature relating to picking sheets. Let me go ahead and open up in here. I'm going to close this up. And over here in warehouse code maintenance, they've added a new button here at the bottom called Paperless. Now, why would they add a button in warehouse code for paperless? Well, what they've done is they've added the capability for you to send your picking lists to your warehouse people. So what you can do is, based upon the warehouse, you can go in and specify your warehouse people. So in the past, we would just email them, or we would print them out, and they'd show up on the printer. Now they will get delivered to specific people. So if it's by warehouse, so if you have one warehouse for one, and another warehouse you can set up different email addresses. And how that works is you can go to your picking sheet printing. So I'll go ahead and go to my sales order here, and I'm going to go to picking sheet printing, and now they've added in the new function here called Paperless Office output, and you can go ahead and click on here and send those out just like before and print those, and those will now go out to the different warehouses, and you'll get those different emails out there. Okay, carrying on next, let's talk about scheduled attachments. So inside Paperless, on the Paperless menu, I'm going to go to the menu here, there is something called form maintenance and electronic delivery. So if you're looking at form maintenance, when you bring that up, there is a new feature here called scheduled attachments. So this button here shows up. Now, a lot of times when we've set up form maintenance in the past, we'll set this up globally, right? And we'll set this up for all companies, sales orders. I see this very common. And we set this up and it works great. The problem is you don't have access to this button. So if I go in and set it up for a specific form, in this case, I'm going to set it up for a sales order invoice. I now have this button here. So what does this button do? This button allows you to attach things to the email. So if you want to send out, along with your invoices, a current price sheet, flyer, terms and conditions, those will automatically get attached to the emails that get sent out. I've had plenty of support calls through the years saying, hey, I want to add this terms and conditions to my invoice. Well, now instead of having to do that, we can just have that attached to an email, and it saves a lot of time and easy. So next, let's talk about those messages. So you have under electronic form maintenance, this is where you access the system and you can control what the emails look like. So we will go into, take a look. You have all these, a lot of these are already set up in advance. So you'll see these set up, but you can go in and modify these. So when you go in and, for example, this invoice is pretty generic. Attached is the document or bill to name, and you, let me turn that off here. What'll happen is you will get these. This will control what the message looks like, and some people will fill in information. What you can do on this, though, is you can actually control specifically what these emails look like. Let me go ahead and go to this ABC. Now, what happens is I've specified this. Let me go ahead and create a new one here. When you go to sales order, you pick all the forms. Now, what they did is they've added more different document types. In the past, we would just have invoice, picking sheet, and order. Now, well, actually, the picking sheet's new also. You also have the ability to break it out. So if you want a different message when it's a credit memo, you can put that in here, and then you can put a different message on as opposed to just here's your invoice. You can say, hey, here's the attached credit memo and whatever. And also you have the consolidated feature. So when you're sending out consolidated invoices, it's a different message than normal, saying, in this case, I think I did that here. I'm going to take a look at this ABC, and I said here, please find all your invoices from today. If you have any questions, specific, contact these, and you can put in your information in here. Now this is HTML. You can put in links in here, logos, bold things, change. You can attach pictures. So this is where you can go in and do all of that information. So let's move on to one other thing. want to talk about this is instead of having to create these, you can say, well, I have to create these for all these. There is a copy button. So if you go in and set up a new one, you can copy from an existing one and pull that in and see what those are. And you can kind of pull that out and save you some time. And then you can just modify it. So it's pretty easy to do that. Last thing I want to talk about is, I'm not going to demo it, we're just going to talk about it. They've added a new role in the role maintenance called Journal and Register PDF Access. What this does is this allows you to go in and specify you want a user, for example, an auditor or some type of manager, you want them to be able to view the paperless office. In the past, we'd have to turn on access to that menu option. So now there's a new option to go in and turn that off or turn that on just for those managers. So that's Paperless Office, 5 solid new features. It's going to reduce manual work, clean up your vendors and customer communications, and give you a lot more control of what's going on. So if you need any help with these features, go ahead and set up a support call, and we'll be happy to help you. And that concludes Paperless Office.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jim. And so now I'm passing it over to you, John. Stop sharing the screen.
Thank you, Tamara. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfect.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. All right, so let me share my screen. All right, so my name is John Wright. I'm the General Manager of Sage 100 Enhancements out of our DSD Development Division. We have over 500 enhancements to DSD, to Sage 100. And InstaDocs is a suite of products that we developed 10 years ago. It is actually one of our most popular products. We designed it 10 years ago to fit companies that need document management. And so we designed it in a way to be embedded in the Sage 100. We wanted it to be easy to use, and we wanted it to be inexpensive to use. So most of the users we spoke to about document management, most companies, they store documents out on their server for customers and vendors. And so we designed around that concept. So you can be able to be in a Sage 100 screen, like customer maintenance, pull up a customer and be able to see the documents that is out on the server for that customer. And we have that for vendor and other of the modules. So what is InstaDocs? It's a quick way to view, store, and access documents from within Sage 100. There are other document management solutions out there, but this is really the only document management solution that's embedded into the Sage 100 screens for easy access. It allows you to store documents out on your server. We also have the ability to store it out into the cloud. We have 6 key features of InstaDocs. Again, easy access. So being able to quickly access those documents by customers or vendors or items, and then being able to open them up, drag and drop documents onto the screen, or copy and paste. Once you have documents assigned to a customer vendor, those documents can be tagged. So a tag is a way to tag a document with a specific keyword or phrase that you can then search on later on. And that's the third key option or key feature, is the master search. So being able to search all the documents for a customer vendor or across customers and vendors for documents that have a tag of a specific keyword or phrase. We do have Paperless Office integration. So if you have Paperless Office with InstaDocs, you can have documents saved, like form printing, have it saved automatically to the customer or the vendor or employee, right? When we designed it, we wanted to have some cloud storage capability. So around this time, Microsoft OneDrive came out, so we kind of modeled the cloud storage after Microsoft OneDrive. But basically, if you have any network drive that points to a cloud storage, you'll be able to use InstaDocs and access the documents from there. And finally, the sixth key feature is security. You can define by role what a user can do with those documents, whether they can see the documents, they can drag and drop, or they can delete them. When we first introduced InstaDocs, we did it for 5 modules, which was the distribution modules, ARAP, inventory, purchase, and sales order. But over the years, we've added other modules. So we have general ledger, job cost, production management, payroll, RMA. If you have DSD InstaDocs Service Center, we have one for that. And then finally, we have lot serial numbers. So you can have documents that correlate to a lot serial number. And then we have a 13th module coming out shortly. That would be for bill of materials. I think that's really the last module we have left to do. So we're going to be releasing that actually either later this month or early next month. All right, so let me go ahead and give you a quick demo of this product. So I'll be in Sage 100 here. So I'm going to go into customer maintenance. And what you see here in customer maintenance is very similar to what you're going to see in vendor maintenance or all the other maintenance programs. And that's an InstaDocs tab. So here it's pointing to the customer directory and it's displaying the documents. So you can browse through these documents, these customers, and you can see that it displays what documents are available. From within, and again, this InstaDocs tab, you'll see in maintenance programs, you'll see it in data entry if you choose to enable it for data entry, and also the history inquiries, right? So here you can select a document, you can double click it, it opens it up on the screen for you. Any file type is available, so that's PDF, Excel spreadsheets, Word documents, even pictures, right? JPEGs or the like. And so being able to open them and access them quickly on the screen is pretty paramount. My next feature is drag and drop. So this is actually my favorite feature to show off because it's really probably the coolest thing. So here I have a file folder open with all of my user manuals for the DSD enhancements. And from here, you can drag and drop from one screen to another. I can also select multiple and drag over multiple, right? I can also copy and paste. So I can right click this, click copy, and click here and hit paste. I can also drag and drop documents from InstaDocs over to a file folder or even to another maintenance screen. So the drag and drop capability and copy and paste is paramount. And then once you have these documents, then you can tag them. So here's a document. On the top right, there's a button for tagging a document. So here I can tag it with a free-form tag like John was here. You can put a comment in, right? And then there's also a timestamp for when the tag was created and which user created it. But you also have template tags. So template tags are tags that you use over and over again, and those can be defined in InstaDocs options. So every InstaDocs module has its own setup options where you can define these template tags. You can do unlimited, and again, you can create these to be used over and over again. So for example, in AR, I want to tag this document that it's a customer PO. You can also select multiple documents and tag them all at once, right? So I can click here and I can tag all of these documents to be, let's say, emails. Now they're all tagged with that. All right, so now that you have seen how you can tag a document, now let's look at the search. So here, there's a search capability on each InstaDocs tab. We also have this super search capability on the utilities menu of each module. And it's a way to search documents based on those tags. So I'm going to select customer PO and I'm going to click search. So for this customer, it found 3 documents that correlated to that tag. I can also click search all directories and click search and see all of them. And from here, I can double click to open the document, or I can change the tags. All right, so that's the InstaDocs tabs. In data entry, we'll take a look at customer maintenance. I'm going to go ahead and create a new batch. 1 second here, batch 5. Okay. All right, so I'm going to create an invoice real quick for this customer. And then I'm going to go ahead and have a document that I can put into this invoice. All right, so I dragged 2 documents onto the invoice. Now, the documents are actually being saved into the customer directory, but it's tagging it automatically with the invoice number. So if I select this and hit the tag button, you'll see that when I dragged and dropped it, it auto-tagged it with the invoice. And this means that what you see on this InstaDocs tab are any documents that are tagged with that invoice number. And by the way, when I post this invoice, an invoice history inquiry, I'll also be able to see the documents associated with this invoice because it was tagged with the invoice number. All right, so the final thing I want to show you is the Paperless Office. I'm going to go ahead and print the invoice that I just did. And so here you can see it printed the invoice, and then now it's going to prompt me to print the invoices into InstaDocs. Now there's a setup feature for this where you can have it automatically save it into InstaDocs for that customer. And it saves it using a naming convention that you define in InstaDocs options. So you can have it automatically save it, or you can prompt, which is what it's doing now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say yes to that. Now if I go back into invoice data entry and I select that batch. All right, so here in InstaDocs, you can see now it has the 2 documents that I dragged and dropped, and it also has the invoice, right? And you can see it's also auto tagged with the invoice number. So that's the Paperless Office capabilities. So what I've shown you today is how there's InstaDocs tabs on the maintenance, data entry, and inquiry screens. We looked at the drag and drop, copy and paste. We looked at the tagging and the auto tagging, and we looked at the paperless auto save of documents into InstaDocs. So that concludes my portion of the presentation today.
All right, well, thank you so much, everyone.